that love bite led me to MGTOW, which is kind of really fucked up.
Well, you know what?
That's usually how it goes, man.
Yeah.
MGTOW are not men who hate women. They are men who probably loved women a little too much and got ran through the ringer.
You get your heart ripped out through your a-hole.
I don't know. I do know that UFOs are real because I've actually seen one with a witness. So I was over the lake. I was out by Lake Ontario. And there's these things called orbs, and they fly into the lake, into the water, and they go under the water. And there's all kinds of weird government buildings along the water that you can't get through, and they have like barricades to pop up. This is Canada, right? So like this is unheard of, and I could document these buildings and put videos up online, but I'd like to, keep alive, let's just say.
Okay.
But anyway, so one night I look over the lake and I see this orb, and it's like flying over the lake. All the other planes are moving. So there's airplanes going in and out of the airports, but there's this amber light, and it's just stuck there over the lake. It's not a boat. And the moment I'm aware of it, I'm like, I tell my girlfriend at the time, I'm like, that's not an airplane. And the moment I say that, the damn thing flew all the way from over the lake, right over our heads.
Wow.
And it was just like this amber light, and it was right over the tree line. And I'm looking at it for about, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 seconds. It's so bright. Like I'm just looking at it. And I look over at her, and I'm like, where the fuck did she go? And she's like fucking bolting for the car. She's just taking off. Like she just could. And then I get to the car too. And like, we're like breathing like heavy, like, oh my God, what the fuck was that? Right. And she's like, that's gotta be human. That can't be something else. It just like, she couldn't, like the brain couldn't process the fact that it might not be something human. Right.
Yeah.
So that freaked the fuck out of her. And when you see something like that, you're like, nothing moves like that. It's in the middle of the lake. And then 2 seconds later, it's like hovering over your head, fully stationary. Right. So it's fucking creepy. It's really fucking creepy.
I was in Phoenix when the Phoenix lights went down in 97.
Are you talking about that giant triangle thing that flew over?
It flew right over. Everyone's like, what is that? Everyone's freaking out. It's gotta be jets. I'm there drinking a 40. That's a UFO.
Yeah. But the thing is it our UFO or is it someone else's UFO?
I have no idea, but I watched it for like 25 minutes before I went inside.
Look, if what I saw was government, then they can read your mind and they can just fly right over you. Like that is fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
if it's government. Yeah. If it's aliens and they can read my mind, I'm okay with that because I would expect them to be able to read my mind anyway.
Well, first of all, I'm not really cool with the government being able to read my mind because there's some dirty ass shit that goes on in this thinking meat, man.
Exactly. But I just think that like if it's something else, I mean, it could be. I don't know. I've had there's this book called Eve Lorgan. She's the author. She wrote this book called The Love Bite. And I knew about the love bite years ago. And I'm like, if that ever happens to me, I'm going to fight the love bite. There's no way this thing can fucking defeat me. And so I got the love bite. And in this weird dream, this fucking like Medusa-like creature bit me and said, you're going to fall in love in 2 days and you're not going to be able to control yourself. And I just like laughed at it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm in charge of me. And then just as what happened 2 days later, I fell in love and I went fucking insane. Right. But the great thing is that love bite led me to MGTOW, which is kind of really fucked up.
Well, you know what?
That's usually how it goes, man.
Yeah.
MGTOW are not men who hate women. They are men who probably loved women a little too much and got ran through the ringer.
You get your heart ripped out through your a-hole.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The weirdest experience I've had was, so I was sleeping. So again, Sandman, sleeping, weird experiences and shit. So I went to sleep one night and I'm in bed with this chick and I get the feeling that it's either 1961 or 1963. And they're lying there in bed with her and she's like, there's something different about you. And I'm like, well, that's because I'm not me. And she's like, well, what do you mean? I go, well, I'm projecting myself into this person and the guy you think you're with is not me. And then I told her, I told her about myself. And then she basically said, she's like, thanks for telling me the truth. My name is, what did she say? Anne Christie, not Agatha Christie, Anne Christie. And I'm a writer.
Ooh.
Look me up. So I get up and I'm like, what the fuck was this? So I look up and I'm like, Anne Christie in the UK writer, and lo and behold, she wrote like a bunch of books, and she wrote a psychic book too. And I find her, and she's still alive. She's in her like 80s, and she's like she lives out in Scotland. And I connected with her on Instagram, but I still can't get like her to respond to any of my messages. She added me on Instagram though.
Oh, okay. Well, that's weird.
That's just fucked up.
That is
like, I'm just
up.
like, holy shit, right? So,
I'm not one of those guys who believes time is a linear thing anyway.
It's not linear. It's definitely not linear. I've had all kind of precognitive experiences. So I know that time is definitely not linear, but there's more to this reality than we really like. Is it a simulation? Is it something else?
Here's the weird thing, since we're going in some crazy places. We gotta get to the rest of these though. After I got my thinking meat ripped apart, I got blown up.
Mm-hmm.
It never healed right. And like I literally sometimes I like see around corners, know stuff that's going to happen before it happens. I can like detect ghosts.
We're driving to Philadelphia, and you're like, this tunnel's haunted, bro. I don't like tunnels.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget to bring your drinking straw.